Hello and welcome to the book summary of the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. And if you don't already know about this book, this is a beautiful book. It talks about wealth, happiness, how you can build better judgment, how you can save yourself, and some other book recommendations are also mentioned in this book that are specifically recommended by Naval. And in this video, we will be talking about how you can utilize judgment and build your judgment to build wealth. And all in all, there are 5 parts to this book summary. This is the second part. First part was about wealth, and if you haven't checked it out, you can check that out as well. You can just go to my channel page and check it out. The second part is about judgment. The third part is going to be learning happiness. Fourth part is going to be about saving yourself. And fifth part is going to be about Naval's philosophy. Correct? And if you don't already know me, my name is Mohit Jagwani. I am an entrepreneur, life coach, and one of India's top speakers. And my goal with this channel is to help you be the most powerful and the most confident version of yourself. So if that sounds interesting to you, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon as well. And without further ado, let's get started. In the building judgment segment, Naval talks about how important it is to have good judgment. Because here's the thing, right? He has already talked about the wealth creation principles, but just knowing these principles is not enough. Principles like leverage, right? And principles like don't earn with your time, earn with your mind. Okay, sure, that all in all, that sounds really good, but in order to leverage those principles, in order to utilize those wealth creation principles and to actually build wealth, you need to have really good judgment. Without good judgment, no matter what principles you utilize in terms of wealth creation, if you do not have good judgment, you cannot make the right decisions in the right time at the right moment. You will not be able to get rich. And that is why he talks about judgment. So that is the first thing. The second part is how can you think clearly? Now, in order to actually think clearly, what happens is that a lot of the times people pretend to know a lot, and these kind of people are the people that you hear that use very big words very frequently. They jargonize that language very deeply and they make it sound very complicated. And what Naval says about this is that real knowledge, actual knowledge, the people that actually have the ability to think clearly, they can explain very complex ideas to 5-year olds as well. For example, now I am a life coach and I'm also one of India's top speakers. So I help people in leadership positions, I help them to communicate better and improve their public speaking skills. Now, when I'm explaining to them, I do not explain to them in a way that's very complex. I do not use a lot of complex jargon. In fact, I explain to them in a way that is very simple, and I have a lot of complex ideas that I do share with them, but I use analogies in such a way that even a 5-year old can understand them. And that is also something that Naval says, that if you cannot break down the knowledge and replicate it in different formats, then that means you haven't understood it clearly. And in order to actually think clearly, some practices that you can do is write and journal on a regular basis. Empty out your mind, right? Clear it out. Whatever junk it is that you feel you have inside of your head, regularly dish it out. When you journal on a regular basis, when you write your thoughts down, your mind in a way gets rid of the junk that's stored inside of it, and you feel clear. You feel better. And when you do that, you are not just dumping it out, you're also understanding the ability to pour out your thoughts clearly. And when you have this ability to pour out your thoughts clearly, you can speak clearly, you can do a lot of things very clearly. So that is what happens when you learn how to think clearly, and you can see things in a very different manner. Next thing is shed your identity to see reality. What happens is that many a times we have a lot of preconceived beliefs and preconceived notions. We don't see things from a blank perspective. No, we have our own inhibitions, we have our own lenses attached to reality. One person could say something. Now, it could mean something, but you could interpret something else. For example, I could say that no one is better than me. That is the first statement. Okay. Now, someone that is used to looking at people in a very negative manner, and he is used to finding faults in people, he would say that you are arrogant because you think that nobody is better than you. You think you're the best. Okay. Which is not all wrong. Sure, that could be the case. And another person could be a little more inquisitive. He would be like, why do you think that way? Why do you think that no one is better than you? And then I would add on to it, well, I think no one is better than me. And I also think that I am better than no one. I believe we are all unique and different in our own ways. And nobody is better than anyone. Okay. Now, the second person that asked me this question, that why do you think that way? He is actually inquisitive. He operated with an open mind, and he wanted to actually get to know and understand that, okay, why exactly is this person saying this person instead of saying this thing, instead of just looking at it from the top, right? He actually digged in deep and found out what exactly was the intent, the meaning behind my words. Okay. Similarly, there are situations that are presented to you on a regular basis, and you have your own preconceived notions, beliefs, the way you look at the world, that hinders with what actually the reality, what the actual reality is. And because of that, you operate in a way that is not very clear. You operate from a person's identity. For example, you operate from, let's say, a shy person's perspective. You operate from a skewed perception. And that is why you have this, you know, you have this identity that you associate with everything. You need to shed it in order to see reality. The next thing is learn the skill of decision making. The ability to take decisions and take decisions quickly, and not just quickly but also well, that is rewarded heavily. For example, if there's someone that makes good decisions 70% of the time, their decisions are right 70% of the time. That's type person A. And then there's person B whose decisions are correct 80% of the time. Now, this sure seems like a small 10% jump, but this 10% jump can be the difference of somebody getting paid, let's say, in lakhs and somebody getting paid in crores. That is actually the genuine difference. So don't think that, oh, it's just a 10% increase. No, the ability to make decisions well is not rewarded proportionally, it is rewarded exponentially. Okay, there are exponential rewards to being just a little bit better in terms of decision making. So focus on that and learn the art of decision making. And in fact, if I were to suggest you some things, right, some tools, tips and techniques in order to become a better decision maker, so there's this book called Mental Models, and there are some mental models in this book that you can utilize to make better decisions. For example, one mental model that I really enjoy, I'm not sure whether it's in this book, but it's a very renowned principle called the Pareto principle. And what the Pareto principle talks about is that 80% of the results that you have come from 20% of the actions you take. And not just that, it is applicable in a lot of scenarios. 80% of the world's wealth is owned by 20% of the world's population. Now, 80% of the time you spend with people, you spend it with 20% of the people you know in totality. Right? So that is also another principle, Pareto principle, and you can utilize this to actually figure out what are the things that are working really well for you. What are the 20% of the things that are giving you 80% of the results that you are seeking? Find out those 20% of things and dive deep in them. Correct? That's one thing. That's one mental model. Another mental model is called minimize regret. For example, now whatever decision it is that you want to take, think that, okay, what if you are on your deathbed and you are thinking about this decision once again? Would you regret doing this a certain way? If you would, then you know what you need to do. So again, this is also a mental model for you to make better decisions. Correct? So that's another thing. And the next thing that he again mentions is collect mental models. Now, if I were to suggest a book, again, Mental Models is the name of the book. This is a marvelous book. Now, again, this does not have as much fiction, but it's still, if you are someone that wants to improve their decision making, you can actually take a look at this book summary. I'm not sure if it's there or not. If it's not there on the internet, I'm going to create one, so don't worry. And again, if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Subscribe right now, man. There is a lot of valuable information coming your way that is going to absolutely change your life. Okay, so moving on, collect mental models. What a mental model essentially is that it simplifies the way you think and accelerates your decision making and thought process. And when you can think faster, when you can make decisions faster, you can progress faster. And when you can progress faster, you can make money faster, you can be happy faster. Okay, so that is the power of having the right mental models. Apart from that, he also mentions that you need to learn to love to read. Genuinely, and I kid you not, reading is that one skill that keeps on paying itself exponentially. If I were to just show you my room right now, okay, so I read a lot. Just so this is just behind my back. I have some more books. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a complete bookshelf, and I have read all of these books, right? And I still continue to read a lot of books. Why? Because reading is that one skill that keeps on giving itself, that keeps on, it keeps on adding onto your bank account, and it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And I kid you not, right now after reading so many books, I feel like I have so much knowledge compared to other people. I mean, when I compare myself to others, it's not even comparable in terms of the average person. Okay, I have acquired so much knowledge because of my love of reading that it's just really hard for someone else to compete with me in terms of the knowledge base that I have accumulated, in terms of the skills that I have and the applications that I have been conducting based on the knowledge that I have received, which is also the reason that I've become a life coach. And when I say in terms of knowledge base, I have acquired a very wide knowledge base thanks to all of these books that I've read. And I have a lot of authors to thank for example, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one life-changing book. That is one life-changing book that I would recommend. Right? Again, Naval Ravikant as well. And by the way, Eric Jorgensen is the name of the author. Correct? And so many other people, Peter Hollins, James Clear, right? Cal Newport. It is just mind-blowing. Right? So this was about the building judgment section. Judgment, just to summarize, is that one key piece that is going to help you expand your wealth exponentially. Learn the art of critical thinking. And when I say critical thinking, just understand this. So, critical thinking is that one skill that separates you from the pack. And the way you think critically is that question everything. If someone says something to you, don't just believe it. Question it. Is this the actual reality? Is this actually happening? For example, if someone says to you that it is impossible for you to make $1 million in a month, which on the surface might sound impossible, right? Is it easy? Definitely not. But are there people that are doing it? Yes, there are. Are there people that come from the background that you are coming from that are doing it right now? Well, there might be. Well, if they can do it, then you can do it too. Don't just take someone's word as a belief. Question it for yourself. If someone says to you that you are going to be a failure, critically question it. Will I genuinely be a failure? Why do they think that I will be a failure? Just because I cannot study or do something or do something that is supposed to be done well according to them, I'm not able to do that well. Is that the reason they're calling me a failure? Is that the truth? right? Are there people that cannot do what they want you to do, right? They cannot do that skill and still they're doing well. If there are, then you can be a success as well. So reject people's opinions as facts. Don't just think that, okay, just because they said something is the truth. No, question it critically. And once after questioning it critically, if you feel that yes, this is something that I want to adopt as a belief, adopt it as a belief. But don't just take someone's word as a fact. And that goes for me as well. Whatever I say, don't just think that is the truth. Question it for yourself. And after questioning it, if you feel like you want to accept it, accept it. So this was the book summary of the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. This was the second part. There are 3 more parts coming. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of this video and what would you like for me to talk about, or a book summary or any skill set that you want me to cover. Anything you'd like to learn from me specifically. Let me know down in the comments below. That was all from my end. And if you are someone that would like to become a better communicator, I'm running a cohort that is going to help you become an exceptional communicator and public speaker. You can check out the description to know more about that. And yeah, that's all from my end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well. And my goal once again with this channel is to help you be the most powerful and the most confident version of yourself. And I will continue doing that in the next video. So that's all from my end. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.